Hello and welcome back to my booktube. I'm C's Library and today marks the start of my 2025 book journal journey. So let's get right into it. So let's get into book journaling. I started my book journal at the start of 2024. I used to bullet journal about my memories and other ideas I had, but I found it hard to keep inspired to keep making it. And so book journaling, my inspiration definitely comes from each book I read, so it keeps me motivated to make spreads. I use book journaling to keep track of my reading, to write down all of my thoughts about the reading, and to analyze as a writer what made a book good or bad in my eyes. Over the course of this series, I'll be making weekly videos to showcase step-by-step how to make your own book journal. But remember to make it your own and to fit your needs as a reader. This is a gentle beginner's guide to book journaling and not the all-inclusive end-all be-all of how to make a book journal. So make it your own, and if you do, post it and tag me so I can see your creations. With all that in mind, let's take a look at the timeline and what we're going to be doing over the course of this series. Starting with next week, we'll create our intro and cover pages to represent the style of our journal and give a little information on the journal. I'll also go into some tips on upgrading your handwriting. Following that, we will have 2 videos on reading trackers, one as an overview and one by rating. Then we will create our reading goals and I'll discuss how book journaling can help us stick to them. Getting into the second half, I'll be creating my challenges and showing you how to make your own. In week 7, we will discuss buddy reads and create a page dedicated to them. In week 8, we will create my current series trackers, discuss the purpose of them, and when and where I'll be inserting them later on in the year when I start a new series. Following that, I'll show you how to set up a Book of the Year tournament so you can keep track of your best reads. In week 10, we will create our monthly pages and design it with trackers to keep us accountable. In our final week of the series, I will discuss the creation of your book reviews, designing them, and figuring out what to say. And that'll be it for this series. Of course, I'll still be making content of me designing and writing my book reviews in my journal, but you'll be all set to make your own as well. So let's take a quick glance at my old book journal so you can get an idea of what you'll be doing and also see the progress that I've made since I started. This was my first book journal. I started my first month with just markers and pens. I looked up book journals and just tried to create my own designs off of that. I did weekly spreads where I noted what I was reading and some quick thoughts of my reading that day. In between those weekly spreads, I wrote my reviews. I separated them into little sections of different thoughts. I had quotes, other works by the author, and etc. By the start of February, I realized I needed some more creativity in it for me, so I used this astronomy journal kit I got for Christmas to design my pages. I changed my weekly formats to just note whatever I felt about my reading that day and move them all together at the beginning. I designed my reviews by whatever I felt from the book, using images from the internet and graphics from Canva. I modified it to just write my review without all those sections. Some of my favorite reviews are in this section, but I found it took too much work to locate the images I wanted and made me dread journaling. March was pretty similar to February's, and then in April, I wanted to focus on using this specific set of scrapbook paper I bought and use colors and designs that matched that. I made a big page tracker to keep track and went back to a minimal weekly notes, but in a more concise format. My reviews each had 2 spreads now. One with a drawing by me with my claw pile, and then one solely for writing my review. I kept some challenges in the back, and that was the end of this book journal. This is my second book journal, and I like to think I got a better footing when creating this one. I tried to keep the entire journal in a semi-neutral theme. I used these library-ish cards to keep track of them, and then I added my usual trackers and challenges. I again kept to 2 spreads for each book, varying in the information I added and the design I used. I adjusted each review according to what I wanted to write about, so if I didn't feel like talking about the other books by this author, I just didn't. This is my third and current book journal. In my third and current journal, I keep with adjusting it to what I wanted to write about, including series trackers and the review pages, and just enjoying the process a lot more. I have tons of ideas for my 2025 book journal, so I'm excited to see how much my journaling will improve over this next year. Now let's talk about journal choices and the supplies you'll need. You can use basically any journal you want, whether it's dotted, lined, grid, blank, large, or small, whichever you find that works for you. But my preferred book journal is a Artist Loft Level 2 from Michaels. They're only about $10. Of course, there are lots of great options, and you can basically create a book journal off of any notebook you find. Using a smaller journal like this would be great if you don't have as much to say about your books and you want to take up less space, more for design. A traveler's journal like this is great if you want to separate it out into different sections, like a section just for your challenges, a section just for your reviews, etc. This one I got from Walmart for just $3, and I wanted to show it as an affordable option since it is probably one of the cheapest journals you can get. It still works fine. It's lined, and it's just a normal notebook for you. This one is an Artist Loft Level 1 journal, and it has most of the same features. It lacks one of the bookmarkers, and it doesn't have a folder in the back, and I think the quality of the paper is a little bit thinner. Ultimately, choose whatever journal is best for you. This one is my level 2 Artist Loft, and I prefer it because the paper is a little bit thicker if I wanted to do some artsy craftsy things in there. The folder can hold anything I don't have to put in there right now. The size fits everything I want to write about. The dots give me a good guide for when I'm trying to design my pages. There's other options that are very similar to this, such as Archer and Olive's brand or lots of other journaling brands, but this one was cheapest for me, and it still fits all my needs. For other supplies I'll be using, but optional for you, because remember I just started with the pen and markers, I have my pen. This is just a Papermate Profile Gel 0.7. I use this very often. A pencil, this one's strawberry shaped, just to help me outline any designs I want to make, but I'm not sure of yet. A ruler, I got this one from Daiso because it fits perfectly in my bag. It's well shaped, but it also, let's see if I can open it up with one hand. It also opens up to give me a little bit more space to make my lines. A Tombow Mono Permanent Adhesive. This one just helps me stick down any of my scrapbooking supplies that I need to put in there, like papers and whatnot. I don't know what you would call this. I got it at Dollar Tree. It's just a little scrapey thing to help me get all the bubbles out when I put my stickers or anything on there, washi tapes. Tweezers are great so I don't get any fingerprints on my stickers, and it also just gives me a more precise landing on where I want to put things. And then some scissors just to cut up any scrapbooking or papers I'm using. And then onto some more crafty supplies. So first up is my washi tape. I clearly have a lot. I have them organized here by some brownish neutrals, some greenish neutrals, and then my colorful bin. I don't use the colorful bin as often, which is why it's more miscellaneous in there. I usually get my washi tape from Daiso or Amazon or some local stationery stores that have some nice ones. I also have this nice set of washi tapes from Notebook Therapy. It is a little bit pricier there. My boyfriend got it as a gift, but these are nicer quality washi tapes, and you're going to see me use them probably a lot in the 2025 book journal, just because they're so pretty. And this is their dried flower set. I clearly have a lot of tombow markers. I have both their dual tipped and over here their twin tone markers, and I use them very often. I like that the dual tipped markers have both a brush pen side and a finer point if I want to just write down things. But the brush side lets me give some good titles. Then I have my scrapbooking stickers sets. I have organized them into this photo case here. You can see one's missing because I'm using that right now. I have them organized by theme. Sometimes if I get a set from Amazon, I'll already have it set up in a theme, but sometimes I just pick out different colors that I want in a specific theme, and I just set them and organize them into that little section. You'll see me use lots of various miscellaneous stuff in it as well, like folders or whatever junk I found that week. Like if I open a blind box, I might want to use some of that in there. So really, it's what you make it. You can use as little to as many of these materials as you want. You can find stickers around your house that you already have, or paper that you're using, or receipt from that day. Whatever you want to use to scrapbook, you have it already, or you can get new ones. If you're interested in the supplies I use, I'll link a few of them down below so you can take a look at them and check them out. And that's about it. Thank you for sticking around. I'm so excited to make my 2025 book journal, and I hope you are too. Until next week, goodbye. Washi tapes. No, why did I say it like that? Like I'm an advertiser.